Chosen one. Pause for a moment. Breathe. You didn't click this video by accident. This wasn't random. This wasn't just another spiritual message in your feed. This message found you. Because there is a difference between being called, being chosen, and being cleared. Many are called. Few are chosen. And only a rare remnant is cleared. And today, heaven wants you to know something that has been stirring quietly in your spirit for a long time. You are both chosen and cleared. Cleared to walk where others stop. Cleared to carry weight others drop. Cleared to stand in rooms others only dream about. Cleared to move with authority, not borrowed, not forced, but given. This isn't hype. This isn't ego. This is confirmation. So if your spirit feels alert right now, if your heart feels heavy and hopeful at the same time, if something inside you whispered, "This is for me," stay with me. Because by the end of this message, you'll understand why your life has been so different, why the pressure has been intense, and why heaven has been watching you so closely. Let's start here. Jesus said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." That means the call goes out to many. But not everyone responds. Not everyone surrenders. Not everyone stays. The call is an invitation. The chosen are the ones who said yes, even when they didn't fully understand the cost. You were called when you felt drawn to truth early in life. You were called when you questioned the world instead of copying it. You were called when your soul refused to settle for shallow living. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Being called doesn't require endurance. Being chosen does. Many start the journey. Few survive the process. And you? You stayed. Even when you were confused. Even when you were hurt. Even when God felt silent. That's why you were chosen. Being chosen doesn't mean life gets easier. It means life gets intentional. Chosen ones are trained through contrast. They are refined through contradiction. They are shaped in places where comfort can't follow. When God chose David, he sent him to the field. When God chose Joseph, he sent him to the pit. When God chose Jesus, he sent him to the wilderness before the miracles. Chosen doesn't mean celebrated. Chosen means separated. That's why your life didn't look like everyone else's. That's why shortcuts never worked for you. That's why God kept removing people, plans, and patterns you tried to hold onto. Not because you were being punished, but because you were being prepared. Now listen closely. This is the part almost no one reaches. Cleared. Being cleared means heaven has tested you and found you trustworthy. Cleared means your character survived pressure. Your heart survived delay. Your faith survived silence. Many are chosen, but they fail here. Because clearance requires purification. God doesn't clear talent. He clears hearts. And the clearing process is not gentle. It strips you. It humbles you. It exposes what can't go where you're going. That's why. You were misunderstood. You were falsely accused. You were isolated. You were stretched beyond comfort. You were tempted to quit more than once. God wasn't being cruel. He was being precise. Because what He's about to trust you with cannot be carried by someone unrefined. Chosen one. Being cleared is not something people applaud. There's no ceremony. No announcement. No applause from the world. Clearance happens quietly, in the unseen places. In tears you never posted. In prayers whispered when no one was listening. In decisions made when compromise would have been easier. If you're cleared, your life carries evidence. Not loud evidence. Living evidence. Let me walk you through the signs slowly, so your spirit can recognize itself. There was a time when everything touched a nerve. Criticism cut deep. Disrespect triggered anger. Rejection sent you spiraling. But now, something has changed. You still feel things, but they no longer control you. You pause before responding. You choose peace over proving your point. You walk away without needing the last word. That's not emotional numbness. That's spiritual authority. God cleared you when He taught you how to govern your spirit. Because uncontrolled reactions cannot carry divine responsibility. Clearance looks like self-mastery. This one is heavy. There were seasons when you were isolated, not by accident, but by design. People drifted. Conversations faded. Support vanished. At first it hurt. You questioned yourself. You wondered if something was wrong with you. But then, something else happened. You learned how to sit with yourself. How to hear God without noise. How to be whole without constant validation. Solitude didn't harden you. It honed you. You came out quieter, but clearer. Less needy, but more grounded. That's clearance. Because God doesn't trust crowds with people who haven't mastered loneliness. This is one of the strongest signs. You were hurt deeply. Misunderstood. Misrepresented. Sometimes even betrayed by people who knew your heart. And you waited for an apology. For acknowledgement. For accountability. But it never came. And yet, you forgave anyway. Not because they deserved it, but because God required it. You released people without rewriting the story. You healed without hearing sorry. You moved on without revenge. That's not weakness. That's clearance level obedience. Because bitterness blocks blessing. And God clears people who can walk free, even when others remain bound. This one doesn't get preached enough. You were obedient in secret. Honest when dishonesty would have benefited you. Faithful when compromise could have opened doors faster. You didn't cut corners. You didn't manipulate outcomes. You didn't sell your values to fit in. And sometimes, it cost you. But heaven saw every unseen decision. Clearance comes to those who live with integrity beyond applause. God can trust you in public. Because you were disciplined in private. You lost people you thought would stay. You lost plans you believed were permanent. You lost seasons you thought would never end. And for a moment, you wondered who you were without them. But here's the sign. You didn't lose yourself. You grieved, but you didn't disappear. You bent, but you didn't break. You questioned, but you didn't quit. Your faith took hits, but it stayed intact. Your heart cracked, but it stayed open. That's clearance. Because God clears those who can survive loss without losing their calling. There was a time when you needed people to understand you, to see your heart, to validate your intentions. Now you don't. You let misunderstandings pass. You let assumptions die on their own. You trust that truth doesn't need defending, it reveals itself. This doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you stopped performing. Clearance brings quiet confidence. When God clears someone, He becomes their defense. Your life may not be fully settled yet. You may still be waiting on answers, direction, or timing. But something is different. You're not panicking. You're not rushing. You're not forcing doors. There's a deep, steady peace guiding you. That peace is not denial. It's alignment. Jesus slept during the storm because peace lived inside Him. And now, that same peace governs you. That's clearance. You sense responsibility. Calling. Assignment. Not pressure, purpose. You feel entrusted with something sacred. Something that requires wisdom, restraint, and timing. You don't need to rush it. You don't need to announce it. You're carrying it carefully. That's clearance. Because God doesn't release power to reckless hands. Things that once tempted you no longer impress you. Fast success. Empty attention. Hollow praise. You'd rather move slow with God than run ahead alone. That's maturity. That's wisdom. That's clearance. Because destiny built on shortcuts always collapses. This one is the deepest sign. You could have become cold, cynical, closed off. But you didn't. You still believe in people. You still hope. You still love, carefully, wisely, but genuinely. That's not naive. That's Christ-like. And that's the final proof. Because God clears people who can be wounded and still remain soft. Chosen one. If these signs mirror your journey, then hear this clearly. You didn't just survive the process. You were approved by it. You've been tested. You've been refined. You've been cleared. Heaven trusts you now. And what God is about to place in your hands will require everything you've been through. You weren't delayed. You weren't forgotten. You were being cleared. And now, you're ready. You've wondered this. God, why did it take this long? Why did others pass me? Why was I hidden while others were promoted? Because God wasn't preparing a moment. He was preparing you. And preparation that touches destiny cannot be rushed. Some people are elevated quickly, but they collapse under pressure. God refused to let that be your story. So He slowed you down. He delayed you. He guarded you from premature exposure. Not to deny you, but to defend you. Chosen one. Clearance is not the end of the journey. It's the moment the journey changes direction. Before clearance, God was shaping you. After clearance, God begins using you. And the shift is subtle, but unmistakable. Let me show you what changes when heaven clears a life. Before, you knocked. You pushed. You tried to prove yourself worthy of entry. After clearance, something shifts. Opportunities come looking for you. Invitations feel prepared in advance. Conversations open at the right moment without force. You'll notice that doors don't open because you're loud. They open because God is already inside the room. This is favor, not fame. Alignment, not ambition. Clearance removes striving. You don't have to announce who you are. You don't need to over-explain your intentions. People listen differently now. They trust more quickly. They sense something steady about you. This isn't charisma, it's authority formed in obedience. Silence now speaks for you. Integrity now introduces you. Because after clearance, who you've become speaks louder than what you say. This doesn't mean opposition disappears completely. But you'll notice the kind of resistance changes. Before, everything felt blocked, delayed, confusing. After clearance, confirmation begins to surround you. Scripture lines up with decisions. People affirm what God already spoke. Peace precedes movement. Timing becomes clearer. You're no longer guessing, you're discerning. Clearance aligns heaven and earth around your steps. This one is quiet, but powerful. You'll find yourself in rooms you didn't campaign for. Around conversations you didn't chase. Trusted with insight, influence, or responsibility. This is not promotion, it's permission. God gives access only to those who won't misuse it. After clearance, your discernment sharpens. You sense when to speak, and when not to. When to act, and when to wait. That restraint is a sign of maturity. And maturity is what qualifies you to carry more. This may surprise you. Clearance doesn't come with full instructions. It comes with full trust. You may not know every detail, but you're not anxious about it anymore. There's a calm confidence guiding you. A quiet assurance anchoring you. You're no longer asking, "What if I fail?" You're asking, "Lord, where are you leading?" That shift is everything. Clearance replaces fear with faith. This is subtle but real. People open up without you asking. They feel safe without knowing why. They leave conversations lighter than when they arrived. You didn't try to counsel them. You didn't preach. Your presence carried peace. That's the overflow of a refined life. God releases healing through those who learn to carry their own pain with grace. False assumptions may still arise, but you don't rush to correct them. You trust timing. You trust truth. You trust God. Because after clearance, God becomes your advocate. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to explain every delay. Silence becomes wisdom. Stillness becomes strength. Before clearance, everything felt broad, general, unclear. After clearance, your calling sharpens. You sense where you're meant to pour out, who you're meant to help. When you're meant to move, you're no longer scattered. You're focused. Because refined vessels are entrusted with refined assignments. Yes, provision increases. Yes, favor follows. But your heart doesn't attach to outcomes. You enjoy blessings without idolizing them. You receive without losing reverence. This is rare. Clearance doesn't make you hungry for more, it makes you grateful for enough. This is one of the clearest signs. Delayed obedience used to delay outcomes. Now, alignment accelerates response. When you move, God moves. When you obey, doors open. When you step forward, provision meets you. Not because you're special, but because you're trusted. And trust is the highest form of clearance. Chosen one. After clearance, life doesn't get louder. It gets clearer. You're no longer fighting for position. You're walking in purpose. You're no longer asking for validation. You're carrying assignment. And everything you endured before this moment was not to delay you, but to align you. Your next steps won't require striving. They'll require obedience. And heaven is already responding. You're not waiting anymore. You've been cleared. Clearance is not the finish line. It's the responsibility line. Pride can disqualify what purity qualified. Shortcuts can sabotage long obedience. Stay grounded. Stay teachable. Stay close to God's voice. Remember, you didn't clear yourself. Grace did. Chosen one. The season of preparation is ending. The season of permission is beginning. God is no longer asking, "Are you ready?" He's saying, "Go. Go where you were once afraid. Go speak what you once swallowed. Go carry what you were trained to hold. You are not late. You are not behind. You are aligned. Few are chosen. Fewer are cleared. And you are both. Chosen one. Before you close this video, slow down for a moment. Don't rush past this part. What you've just heard was not motivation. It was not inspiration. It was recognition. Something ancient inside you stirred because truth always finds what belongs to it. And now, the most important thing remains. Receive this. Not with excitement only, but with agreement. You don't need to analyze this moment. You don't need to ask for another sign. You don't need to replay your past to see if you qualify. The process already proved it. The fire refined you. The silence trained you. The waiting prepared you. If this message resonated, it's because your spirit recognized its own journey. Receive that without shrinking, without apologizing, without disbelief. God does not confirm what He has not already completed. Some people will never understand your transformation, not because you failed to communicate, but because they never walked your road. You don't need to convince anyone anymore. Your obedience spoke. Your endurance testified. Your fruit will explain what words cannot. Walking forward means refusing to live in reverse. Let the old versions of you rest. You don't need to rush. You don't need to chase. You don't need to prove momentum. The next steps will unfold in order, not in panic. God doesn't guide through pressure. He guides through peace. If peace is leading you, you're in step with heaven. Walk at that pace. You don't have to announce your clearance. You don't have to display your calling. Live it. Let humility guard your power. Let obedience protect your assignment. Let love anchor your authority. Those who are truly clear don't demand recognition. They carry responsibility. And heaven honors that posture. Not everyone will celebrate your alignment. Not everyone will clap for your clarity. But resistance does not mean reversal. Often, it's confirmation that you've crossed a threshold. Stay steady. Stay anchored. Stay obedient. The noise will fade. Speed without direction leads to burnout. Silence without obedience leads to stagnation. But movement with God leads to fruit. Pay attention to the small instructions. Honor the subtle nudges. Respond to the quiet prompts. Big doors open on small obediences. You don't need to argue truth. You don't need to defend alignment. Live faithfully. Serve sincerely. Love deeply. Speak when led. Remain teachable. Consistency will do what explanation never could. Chosen one. May your steps be ordered without confusion. May your decisions be guided without fear. May your calling unfold without striving. May your heart remain soft without becoming weak. May your authority grow without feeding pride. May you walk forward knowing you were not rushed into this moment. You were prepared for it. If this message settled something in you, don't ignore that stillness. Type in the comments, "I receive this, and I will walk forward." Not for the algorithm, for alignment. Let agreement finish what revelation began. Share this with someone who has been through the fire but hasn't yet understood the purpose of it. And if this space continues to speak to your spirit, stay connected. Because heaven is not finished with you yet. Chosen one, before you go, I want to speak to the givers, the ones whose hearts feel called to pour back into the vessel that pours into them. If this message awakened you, if it strengthened you, if it spoke to your spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then I invite you, only if your heart feels led, to sow a $1 seed into this channel. Not because God needs it, but because giving is a spiritual law. A small seed carries big obedience. And God multiplies what is given with pure intention. Your $1 keeps this ministry alive, keeps the messages flowing, and helps this word reach the next chosen one who needs it. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, if you feel that gentle pull, you can plant your $1 seed using the link in the description. And if you can't or don't feel led, you are still loved, still seen, and still covered. Blessings to every giver, and blessings to every listener. Your seed moves heaven in ways you may never see. But God sees it all.